Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nuke the Stars. Oh, what's that? I hear something. I hear something is very faint off in the distance. What is it? It's awesomeness! Stork versus SkyHigh TVP action. And if you're late to the party, if you don't know already, Stork is my favorite StarCraft player of all time. And voted by Time Magazine as the sexiest man in the universe, I might add. He eats lightning and craps silver, I think is what I'd say about Stork. But yes, if he does win this series against SkyHigh, this will be his 10th consecutive OSL Round of 16, which is absolutely ridiculous. He's been playing since 2005, and he's still a force of nature, even though he is one of the last lower APM players left on the scene. I think his average APM is something along 280, something like that. Compared to a player like Beige, his typical average APM is about 400. So he moves slow, but he makes all the right moves. Wow, that sounded horrible. But okay, we're getting ready to start on Eye of the Storm. I'm going to have to make a lot of manly comments to make up for that last one. But okay, here we go. I don't have much to say about SkyHigh. He has no achievements yet. But that could change if he manages to get by Stork. God forbid. Except down at the 5 o'clock position in Beige is Stork. So that means down at the 8 o'clock position in whatever is SkyHigh. SkyHigh is not known as the best Terran versus Protoss player in the universe. Definitely not, but I've seen Stork fall to some lesser Terran players. Well, not lesser, maybe about the same playing field, like Kanata back in one of the last MSLs. Stork! Okay, anyway, sorry, completely lost my train of thought. Oh, the carriers. I do hope we see some carriers from Stork today. He does have some pretty epic carrier micro, some of the best in the game. There's a Vuvuzela. Dear God. Dear God, I hope Vuvuzelas don't make it into StarCraft, but... Okay, there's, the first pylon from Stork, Dino Pylon. I'm sorry, I'm getting completely swept up in fanboyism, as is the audience. The audience all rooting for Stork. Look at that. That says, Stork is awesome. P.S. He's really, really awesome. P.S.2. He is awesome. So, okay, I'm trying to get this out of my system, so I'm a little less annoying. Okay, deep healing breaths. Deep healing, non-fanboy breaths. Oh, there we go. Now I sound like I'm high. Okay, so SkyHigh, ironically, just built his supply depot here. I'm very curious to see what kind of build that SkyHigh is going to try against Stork. Since Stork has one of the more unique styles of PvT in the game, but he also has one of the best PvT records out there. I think he still has something around like 66% against Terran, which is ridiculous these days after all the games that he's played. Ridiculous dorks in the audience, I might add. But yeah, Stork, his best matchup is definitely versus Terran. Always has been, always will be, most likely. Because he said it in interviews, not many Protoss players like to go for the same kind of thing that Stork does. He is very Dragoon-focused, and he does a lot of shuttle micro, which some of the newer guys kind of shy away from. I mean, lots and lots of shuttle micro. It's not uncommon to see Stork go for 3 or 4 shuttles out there in the field, doing multiple drops, multiple Zealot bombs. As he pushes the front, he's very aggressive, and he knows just the amount of hits to take down a tank. Some of his micro against Terran is just unreal. It's definitely the most impressive of his matchups to watch. And yes, that is actually very good. The carrier plane. Excellent. But yes, I have tried to flush most of the fanboyism out of my system. I think I have. There's still, I'd say, about 0.08, just brushing against the legal limit of fanboyism right now. But the Cybernetics Core coming up for Stork. This is not going to heat up for a little while, since this is a gigantic map. We're going to see a nice macro game from these two gentlemen. But SkyHigh is a pretty aggressive player. I think he will try to get the contain pretty early, especially considering Stork is already expanded, and once SkyHigh notices that, he is going to most likely try to push the front and get on the contain with mines of the sort. I'm remembering all of the games I've casted with Stork. I haven't casted many with SkyHigh. Might have never casted a SkyHigh game. I can't remember if I did, since I do OSL, SkyHigh is not an OSL player, really. So I don't get a chance to cast a lot of games from these MSL guys like Jangbi and Free. But now Free is broken into the round of 16. That's going to change. But SkyHigh is another one of those players. Does great in Pro League. And I'm not sure how he does in MSL because I don't follow MSL very closely. But yeah, he's a pretty good player. I mean, obviously, he took the Winners League finals against Jaedong Oz, stopped Jaedong, and then did the reverse all-kill, which was basically his debut. He'd played before that. Everyone was shouting his praises, but that was the first moment that he really showed everyone how great he was. And then immediately went into a nosedive, I think. I think he lost a lot of games after that. Kind of went downhill a bit. But SkyHigh is a good Terran player, and he could definitely take down Stork if Stork puts his guard down a bit. He's got to be aware of this Vulture that's coming in. The Vulture is sneaking outside the front, and I'm not sure if SkyHigh is going to try to sneak by or not. He might be able to if he gets Vulture speed up. I don't see the machine shop spinning, though, so he's trying to get a few more Vultures out. Maybe his tank, yeah. He's trying to get his tank out first and his expansion up before he tries the upgrades from the machine shop. There's Dragoon range spinning for Stork. Getting the robotics facility up, as is the usual Stork build. Needs to have that shuttle out to do his awesome Zealot bombs and whatnot. Now Stork is coming over here, putting down a pylon, but he was immediately scouted, so I might have to cancel that pylon, or he will lose everything. Stork being hit by one mine, took a lot of damage there. At least he didn't lose that Dragoon. Oh man, what am I saying? I'm jinxing Stork! Oh, Stork loses his Dragoon to the mine. That is so early in the game, so things are not looking good for Stork already. He's going to have to do a lot to come back from this, losing a pylon out there. He was going to try to use that to scout any incoming drops, but that was scouted immediately by SkyHigh, so things are not looking good for Stork already. A couple early losses that he's going to have to micro his butt off to make up for. But it shouldn't be too hard for Stork. Academy coming out for SkyHigh is going to get up his scans. As I saw the Citadel of Adun inside the main for Stork. So the Observatory is Citadel of Adun. So he might be working to some pretty early Arbiters here. Let's see if he does put down the Stargate right after this. Let's see what that building is coming up. Just some more gateways coming up for Stork right now. But I think he will go into Arbiters very quickly from these two bases, which is usually Best's build. That's usually that was kind of his. That's the build he's been using a lot. Best in Pro League games. Almost never works out for him. Two base Arbiters like this, but I think the Stork can make it work. All right, the Templar Archives coming up. Oh boy, so Stork getting out his first observer. He's going to try to do a little mine clearing around his natural expansion, make himself a little bit safer for those contains. But SkyHigh is pushing this right now with a few tanks. He has 3 tanks in right now, so Stork has really got to hustle. He's got to do some mine dragging too. There are some mines at the front that he could use to drag into the tanks or something. But now Stork has a lot of Dragoons. I think he'll be able to hold this off. It's going to be a bit close with the reinforcement Vultures coming in. As I said, SkyHigh playing very aggressively, trying to get on that contain. Right now, Stork doing an excellent job fighting it back. And is doing some nice mine clearing as well. So SkyHigh, it looks like he's going to have to back off. Almost made that attack worth it, but I don't think he anticipated the amount of Dragoons that will be out at the natural for Stork. So SkyHigh's got to back off, come up with another plan, or at least go in with another wave of troops later. So Stork looks like, yes, there is a Stargate for Stork. We're going to see the Arbiter Tribunal soon. And there it is, the Arbiter Tribunal from these two bases. Let's see if Stork goes out, tries to throw down that third base anytime soon. SkyHigh is expecting it, throwing down the mines at the prospective base at the 3 o'clock position for Stork. So if Stork goes out, he's going to have a little bit of annoyance on his hand. I think he's going up with the probe right now that might be picked off. Yes, it is picked off before he can plant down a base or even notice that there's mines over at that location. Okay, SkyHigh is building his third base over at the 9 o'clock position, and we'll probably see Stork try to attack that later before SkyHigh can get some defenses in line for that 9 o'clock. SkyHigh is moving into the middle of the base of the map, right now. being scouted by the observer in the middle, so at least Stork is going to know how to flank this if he does see it coming his way. I don't think he saw these vultures, though. He just sees the tanks out right now, so he's going to try to hold his high ground a little bit longer, not get trapped inside of his base.